Hello students, welcome back to the Educator Guru, where we are going to get you different papers for second year PhD students, the model question papers of different subjects in commerce, right? So first let us start with the second PU business studies. Say we are going to get you the all answers, right? Say when I do that one, you will have what you call question along with the answer and a detailed explanation for it, right? Before I start my question paper, I would like to request all of you, those who have not subscribed for this channel, kindly subscribe and share among your friends, right? I wish everyone all the best for your second PUC examination. Now the model question paper for the academic year 2021-22 given by the board, and here the paper is there. Time 3 hours 15 minutes, maximum 100 marks. Instructions to candidates: write the serial number of questions properly as given in the question paper while answering. Write the correct and complete answers, right? Thus the instructions has been given in the question paper, that is in the model question paper. So here section A, they have asked any 10 of the following, where I am going to get you all what actually the questions answers. Let us start section A. Section A, what is efficiency? Everyone we talked about efficiency. That means the perfectness. When we do a work, it should be perfect, 100% clarity. That is called as what actually efficiency. We say that he is efficient in doing that work. Is called as what actually efficiency. But you are supposed to write that one technically. Efficiency means doing a task correctly by using a minimum quantity of resources and with minimum cost. So you are not supposed to use the highest cost and highest what actually thing, where you are supposed to use minimum quantity of resources with minimum cost, right? That is called as what actually efficiency. State the number of principles of management propounded by Henry Fayol. That means how many principles have been given by Henry Fayol. Means there are 14 principles. There are 14 principles. If you write 14, then you will get 1 out of 1. Principles of management are not universal, flexible, absolute, behavioral. So you have to select. So it is called as absolute. That means it is absolute. Principles of management are not what actually absolute, right? Because always it may what you call change according to the time, right? So what is the business environment? You know that environment is most important concept everywhere, right? The surroundings, right? Here the surroundings of the business. So business environment means the sum total of all individuals, institutions and other forces that are outside the control of a business enterprise, but they may affect its performance. You take simple example. While growing, you are in need of the best environment of your friends, right? So that if you get a good environment, you will become the best citizen. Then you will become the best student. You will take the best marks. In the similar fashion, business environment also it is called as total of all individuals, institutions and other forces that outside the control of business enterprise. You may have social, you may have political, you have economic, anything, right? All those things when it comes at which affects what actually your performance, but even then you are supposed to maintain that environment. Next, what is planning? We all plan like anything. That means doing a job with what I call one to-do list is called as what actually planning. But we are best planners, worst executors. That should not happen in any management, right? So planning means setting objectives and targets and formulating an action plan, that is determining the appropriate course of action to achieve them. In simple words, planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do it, where to do it, when to do it. All these things is called as what actually planning. So always remember that when you go for a cricket match, when you go for a movie, how you will plan your all activities, when to go, how to go. That is also planning. But here also in business, we do what actually planning. Then which of the following is the example of single use plan? That means single use plan. Policy, procedure, budget, method. I hope it is budget, right? It is budget. Budget is what actually for example, for single use plan. That means we will prepare once in a year. Then span of management refers to number of managers, length of term for which a manager appointed, number of subordinate under superior, number of members in top management. The number of subordinates under a superior. That means span. Span means how many are there. That means how many people that you are controlling is called as directly span. So it is number of subordinates under a superior. Name one internal source of recruitment. You can say that transfer, promotion. They have given one, I have given you two, transfers and promotions. Both they are called as internal source. That means we are not going to give any advertisement. We promote or we transfer within the organization. We identify and do something. It is called as internal source of recruitment. Next, what is workforce analysis? A workforce analysis refers to an estimation of the existing personnel in the organization. Personnel is called as what actually human resource. That is personnel management, right? As today word is human resources. Workforce analysis refers to an estimation of the existing personnel in the organization. That means how many human resources that you have in the organization. That is called as workforce analysis. State any one financial incentive. That means always people will be attracted, say will be motivated. Two things. One is what you call financial, the other one is non-financial. So some people they like financial, some people they like what I say non-financial. Here they have asked financial incentive. It may be salary, wages, bonus, whatever it is, right? Then expand CPM, critical path method. So expand CPM is critical path method. Next, current assets are those assets which get converted into cash. Current assets are those assets which are converted into cash within 6 months, within 1 year, between 1 and 3 years, between 3 and 5 years. It is within 1 year. Current assets always within 1 year, right? Which is also called as working capital. A treasury bill is basically an instrument to borrow short-term funds, an instrument to borrow long-term funds, an instrument of capital market, none of the above. Treasury bill is an instrument to borrow short-term funds, an instrument to borrow what actually? Short-term funds. Give an example for marketing of services. Give an example of marketing of services. That means what are the services that you will market, that is under services. Insurance is a service, healthcare is a service, business process outsourcing is service, which is also called as BPO. BPO. Even you have KPO, knowledge process outsourcing. KPO is also one of the example. We are not only business processing, we are knowledge outsourcing. That is, there is one more thing, that is KPO. Then online trading. They have given one example, that I have given you 5 examples so that you can write any one. Then state any one regulation which provides legal protection to the consumers. Legal protection. The consumers means one who buy the goods and consumes. It is Consumer Protection Act 1986, right? So most important acts, right, where we are supposed to follow and do, right? These are the 15 questions under section A. Now section B, students. Define management. So I have given several definitions. You can take any one definition, right? Define. You are supposed to write definition given by somebody. According to Harold Kuntz and Henry, which management is the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in group efficiently to accomplish what actually selected aims. In other words, Winter. Management is the process of working with and through others to effectively achieve organizational objectives by efficiently using limited resources in the changing environment. In other words, of Robert L. Trevelyan and M. G. Newport, management is the process of planning, organizing, actuating and controlling an organization operations in order to achieve coordination among human and material resources essential in the effect and efficient attainment of objectives. I have given you what you call several definitions. The ultimate aim is what actually how we are going to do things. What is management? Getting things done by others is the general definition of management. But here, how we are going to do it efficiently and effectively, that management that you can define in any one's way, that is defined management. Right? Next, give the meaning of motion study. Motion study refers to the study of movements like lifting, putting objective, sitting and changing position, etc., which are undertaken while doing a typical job. So, several what you call movements will be there where we are supposed to study that one, that we have to do it in advance for the benefits of the institution and employees, right? So, that is called as motion study. State any two important principles of management. Providing managers with useful insight to reality. The principles of management provide the managers with useful insights into real world situations. Actually, you just only say these things, providing managers with useful insights into reality, that is enough. Then optimum utilization of resources and effective administration. Say you are supposed to have that insight that what you are doing, that should be real. The next one is what actually the resources that what you are using, that should be what actually optimum. Optimum, don't think it is maximum. Optimum is the capacity that what you can use perfectly, right? It is called as optimum. So management principle enable the managers to make optimum utilization of resources and lead to increased productivity. Scientific decisions. Management principles help in thoughtful decision making. Say science is one word, it keeps on what actually changing. Say always I remember youngest of science is the oldest of arts, because science always is called as young. Always you take the example of what you call your mobile. The mobile, how it will be there, right? Yesterday and today, tomorrow, it keeps on what actually changing, right? That means that is the science. That is why the scientific decision, what you are going to do, it must be systematic. Once you say systematic, definitely it holds good. Management, training, education and research. So always one should not be stagnant. There should be a, what do you call, flowing water. Not should not become stagnant water, it should be a flowing water. So management, training, education and research. Management principles are used as a basis for management, training, education and research. You can just write, state what actually two things straight away, one to one line answer is because it is to understand that again, because in the later stage when you get for section C and section D, it becomes useful for you. For that sake, I have given you the detailed answers here also. Write any two features of planning. Planning focuses on achieving objectives. Planning is a primary function of management. Planning is pervasive, right? So you have to write two features. Planning focuses on achieving objectives. Yes, right? So why you plan? Yes, you want to finish off, right? Planning is primary function. Without planning, nothing can be done. Planning is pervasive. That means where you are going to get something in future, right? Then planning is continuous. Planning is futuristic. Planning involves decision making. Planning is a mental exercise. So you can write anything. I have given you what you call so many examples for planning. Say if you get in a 5 marks question, that is mention the different types of, briefly explain this one, here it is there, right? Then give the meaning of rule. Rules are specific statements that inform what is to be done. They are the simple type of plans. Say that my father has ruled today, every day I should be in house within 7 o'clock. It's a rule made by the parent. Likewise, say for everything in the organization, they will make specific statement, inform that what is to be done is called as what actually a rule, right? It is applicable everywhere, but it is strictly applicable in the organization. Write any two differences between functional and divisional structures. Said there are two things. One is functional, the other one is divisional. Say formation. Formation is based on functions. Formation is based on product lines. Specialization. Functional specialization, product specialization. Responsibility. Difficult to fix responsibility on a department. Easy to fix responsibility for performance of division. Cost. Economical. Costly due to duplication of functions. Say when you want to have efficiency in the organizations, then they'll go for what actually divisional. If it is what you call manageable, then they'll go for what actually functional structure. So this all depends on the capacity of the organization to do the things. Even I have given you one more: coordination, difficult, easy; managerial development, difficult, easier. So you can write any two, but I have given you so much. State any two types of direct financial payments which the organization can adopt to pay its employees. State any two types of different direct financial payments, right, which the organization can adopt to pay its employees: salary and commission, right? What is supervision? Say whenever I read the questions twice, you see that is how you will get the answer. That's why I study the question paper. So some questions not once but twice. So it will have impact on you, that how you should study the question paper in the examination, right? What is supervision? Supervision is an element of direction. It is the process as well as function performed by a supervisor. Supervision is a process of guiding the effort of employees and other resources to accomplish the desired objectives. It means overseeing what is being done by subordinates and giving instruction to ensure optimum utilization of resources and achievement of work targets. So very, very important. If your parent doesn't supervise, then how you will study? If your teacher doesn't supervise, how you will study? Right? So supervision is one thing, it is must in the organization, right? Because sometimes they will be going wrong, then check and halt and correct. Then that is called as the duty of what actually the supervision. State any two traditional techniques of managerial control. Traditional techniques: personal observation, statistical report, break-even analysis, budgetary control, right? So personal observation, say by seeing that what the person is doing, I can tell, or I can say that what you have done, I will pick what actually the statistics, right? This is the thing, this is the thing, this is the thing, this I will get that report. Break-even analysis. What is break-even analysis? No profit, no loss. No profit or no loss. That point is called as what actually, where your total revenue equals what actually your total cost is called as break-even point, right? So say that one, that means what we are doing, it is correct or not. Then budgetary control. You have several budget. You have cash budget, you have what you call a flexible budget, you have production budget, you have sales budget. So there are several budgets are there. Say with that we can control. So there are several techniques are there. Say when you go for higher studies, where you are going to work out problems separately, these are all become separate chapters only, right? So these are the traditional techniques of management control. Next, state twin objectives of financial planning. Twin, I hope you know that twin, together is called as what actually twin. To ensure availability of funds wherever required. To ensure unnecessary finance is not raised. That means, say we should be very careful with what actually our funds. and use of funds. That is very, very important. Requirement of funds and use of funds, right? That is called as, what do you mean by availability and what actually unnecessary finance. Always you should take care of things. That is called as what actually twin objectives. What is capital market? Capital market refers to facilities and institutional arrangements through which long-term funds, if you don't use long-term funds, then it is a waste. Capital market is what actually long-term funds. Both debt and equity are raised and invested. So, capital market is one important concept of that, right? So, what is marketing? Marketing is a process whereby people exchange goods and services for money or for something of value to them. I hope you know that everyone we do use the word marketing, right? Marketing is something that where we exchange goods as well as what actually the services. That is called as what actually the marketing. In other words, marketing is a special process where people interact with others in order to persuade them to act in a particular way, say to purchase a particular product or what actually service. So this is what you mean by marketing. That is the technique that we use, that is called as what actually marketing. Give two examples of durable products. Durable means for long. Refrigerator, bicycle, sewing machine, cooker, television. I have given you, you can write anything apart from that. What you say you are called as durable products, which you will use for long term. What is consumer protection? Providing adequate legal protection to consumers against unscrupulous, exploitative and unfair trade practices like adulteration, hoarding, black marketing, etc. by selling is called consumer protection. It helps the consumer to protect their physical and economic interests. I'll get you a small example. When I was a student, when my teacher asked that, anybody, have you counted in the matchbox how many sticks will be there? Where they mention it will be 100 sticks. Have you any day have you counted that 100 sticks are there? In India, consumer protection is what actually production is there, but consumer alertness is not there. But we will never say that. When you go for a toothpaste, say he says that 100 grams, net weight 100 grams. Have you checked any day 100 grams is there in the toothpaste? So that is where the difference between other countries and in our country. So we are supposed to have that, what do you call, we have to take care of, then only it is that consumer protection is there, right? Then next, what kind of cases can be filed in a state commission? So what are the type of cases that can be sued, right? A case in which the amount of claim exceeds rupees 20 lakhs but limited up to rupees 1 crore, then that can be what actually go for it. The appeals against orders of a district forum. So these are the two type of cases that can be filed in a state commission, right? So these are the answers for section B. Now section C. Say here, answer any 7 of the following questions in 10 to 12 sentences. Each question carries 4 marks. Say very simple. There are 14 questions only for this year because it is Corona year. That's why they have made it what actually special. It is 14 questions. Then you'll have to answer 7 questions. But I've answered all the questions, right? Let us start one by one. Briefly explain any 4 importance of management. I've already told you what is management. Getting things done by others is called as what actually management. Then importance, why it is important. So management helps in achieving group goals. So whenever you want to achieve the goals, then the management is the direction plays the vital role. Without direction, you cannot achieve any goal. Management helps in achieving the goals of the organization by giving common direction to the individual effort. Management helps in achieving personal objectives. A manager motivates and leads his team in such a manner that individual members are able to achieve personal goals while contributing to the overall organizational objective. So you are supposed to what actually motivate your employees in such a way, if you do this, you will become like this. It is just like in the classroom, if you do this one, then you will be like this in your life. So usually we say that if you struggle for 5 years, you can enjoy for 50 years. But if you enjoy for 5 years, then you'll have to struggle for 50 years. Likewise, here also the management helps achieving the personal objective. That means when you are doing your work, how it can be contribute personally as well as to the organization. Management increases efficiency. Say, whenever you have the best, it increases the efficiency. Efficient management team helps to reduce cost and increase productivity, and thus increases the efficiency of the organization. So always you should think of the cost. So unnecessary waste should be always practically avoided. That is the efficiency of the management. For that, how the direction will be. Then management creates a dynamic organization. Management convinces people, employees, to accept changes as and when there is a need for such change, and keep the organization a dynamic one. So you are supposed to always change. Change is inevitable in the life, but you have to accept. If you resist, then you cannot grow. So to grow and to become dynamic, the management creates dynamic organization. Often and often it gives what actually the training and what actually other things for the employees. Management helps in the development of society. Management helps the development of society by providing good quality of products and services, by providing employment opportunity, and so on. Say, always it thinks of social responsibility plays the vital role. It not only grows, at the same time it says that it is giving lot of help to the society. Thus, management helps in the development of the organization, employees, and the society by making an organization an efficient and dynamic one. So always it is not only for management, even for what actually in your life also you can think that how you can become dynamic, and how you will be useful to the society, and how you can individually motivate yourself. All those things what actually it happens in the management, right? So that is question number 31. Now question number 32. Explain the principles of scientific management. See, here you should always understand what is scientific. Scientific is called as, what I have already told you, that is called as systematic body of knowledge, is called as what actually science. So science plays the vital role, right? So when you have that system, then how it works with the principles, especially in management. Number one, science, not the rule of thumb. Say, rule of thumb is whatever it is there, that goes what actually. It is not like that. So science, not rule of thumb. Application of science in the place of rule of thumb is one of the principles of scientific management. Under scientific management, each piece of work, example, even a small activity like loading of goods, is scientifically analyzed to determine the time and standard method of doing it with utmost efficiency. I think now you know that for each and every work we have what actually digital technology. When you have that digital technology, we can use that one, then how it can be done and how best the services can be fulfilled, right? The equipment and tools to be used and working conditions are also determined scientifically. I'll get you one small example. So where in this world, where you used to take a screwdriver to open one nut or bolt like that. Now we have a typical type of screwdriver where you can easily thread it and you can easily remove it. That means that is the system where it is there even in what actually organization. The scientific management involves the development of one best method through study and analysis, which contributes to saving human energy, time and materials, right? Harmony, not discord. Securing an atmosphere of harmony in the place of discord, that is lack of harmony or agreement, is another important principle of scientific management. Under scientific management, there should be complete harmony of interest between the workers and management. There must be what you call best agreeable things which should happen between the employees and employer, or managers and employees. Why? Because if you do not agree, then the friction starts. Say that should not be happen. That is called as harmony plays the vital role, right? To achieve this, Taylor called for complete mental revolution on the part of both management and workers. Both should realize that each one is important and true interest of the two are not one and the same. Management should share the gains of the company with the workers. At the same time, workers should work hard for the prosperity of the company. Always you should think that this company is my company, right? I am for this company. When you say like that, then the company will also grow and you will also grow. That is called as, what do you mean by harmony? Next, cooperation, not individual. See, it is very simple. Say you may grow individually, but the thing is, cooperation and coordination plays the vital role in any organization. Even in your house also cooperation plays the, between husband and wife and children. Yes, cooperation is there. If everybody goes in their way, then the work will not be done properly. Likewise, replacing individualism by cooperation is another important principle of scientific management. Scientific management aims at promoting a spirit of cooperation and teamwork. Most important, teamwork between management and workers. To achieve this, the management has to receive constructive suggestions from the employees and they should be rewarded for their good work. So, this is how you can motivate your employees. This is the thing, if you do this one, then you will be giving some award, right? And they ask a suggestion. So, when you take this suggestion, yes, it will be done like this. So, it's a good suggestion. They may give 10 suggestions, but you may take 2 of the best. Out of that, you may give reward, right? Further, while taking important decisions, workers should be taken into confidence. So, this is very important, very important. So, if you do not have confidence in your workers, then the whole thing it will be fail, right? At the same time, workers should not go on strike making unreasonable demands on the management. Right? Next, development of each and every person to his her greatest efficiency and prosperity. Allowing development of each worker his great efficiency and prosperity and not restrict him is another important principle of scientific management. This can be ensured by scientific selection of employees. Say ensured by scientific selection of employees, assignment of work according to their physical and mental capabilities, training them systematically and rewarding them with promotion and higher wages. So, this plays the vital role always. Say how we select the employees and what capacity that they have, then what type of job that what actually they can discharge. All these things you should what actually take in in a systematic manner. Then it is called as, what do you mean by, you can easily develop the individual as well as the organization prosperity. This will contribute to their greatest efficiency and prosperity for both organization and workers. So, here I have given you so much of a lengthy answer because in the examination, if you read 8 sentences, you may reproduce only 2 sentences. So, if you just say that 4 to 10 sentences mean you can write 3 sentences in each of the points, right? Next point, explain any 4 characteristics of business environment. Characteristics, say you should always understand what is characteristic. Characteristic is called as advantages and disadvantages. It is combination. Then if you go further, then you can say it is advantages and limitations. But here also you can say what is your character, it is plus point and minus point. We will all say there would be plus point only. Say we should think of our weakness also. When you think of our weakness, then we will become perfect. Likewise, characteristics of business environment. Totality of external forces. Business environment is sum total of all things external to the business firm. It is aggregative in nature. So, you have to think of what you call what is there outside the business, then how you are going to control. Specific and general forces. Business environment includes both specific and general. What is meant as specific? It is particular. General means it happens to everybody. Specific forces, which are customers, suppliers, competitors and investors, affect individual enterprises directly and immediately in their day-to-day working. General forces such as social, political, legal, technological conditions affect individual firm indirectly, because this is not in your hands, but this is in your hands. So, all of a sudden socio-economic and political or legal technological scene changes, then it affects everybody. It affects everybody, right? Now, interrelatedness. Different elements or parts of the business environment are closely interrelated. For example, increased awareness for healthcare has increased demand for many health products and services like that free cooking oil and health resorts. You can see that one. Each point, if you go for research, you will get some new business. So that is the brain behind any human being, right? So we are all dependent, we are not independent. That is what it is said, that interrelatedness. Dynamic nature. Business environment is dynamic in nature. It keeps on changing. It keeps on changing. You cannot stop changing, right? For example, there may be shift in consumer preferences. There may be entry of new competitors in the market and so on. But you have to withstand that one. That means you are not supposed to stop your research, right? That is called as, what do you mean by research is one thing. The word say that research. That means always you should say research. Then you will get something different. So that you have to do it. That is R&D plays the vital role. For that you should have dynamic nature. Uncertainty. Business environment is largely uncertain. In some areas like information technology and fashion industries, environment changes are taking place too frequently, making it very difficult to predict future happenings. It is unpredictable, especially fashion. If you take, it is unpredictable. Technology, it is unpredictable. Say always I say dress, and the other one I'll say that mobile or what you call new gadgets. You take that one, how fast it changes, then definitely it will have impact. Complexity. Business environment is a complex phenomenon. It is easier to understand in parts but difficult to grasp in its totality. For example, it may be difficult to know the extent of relative impact of the social, economic, political, technological or legal factors on changing in demand of a particular product in the market, because you are not a psychologist, then you cannot predict, but somehow you have to take some risk, right? But it is a complex problem, but it is in the environment that how you are going to handle that one. Then relativity. Business environment is a relative concept since it differs from country to country and even region to region. For example, demand for sarees is fairly high in India, while demand for sarees is almost nil in France. You can see this one. So relativity is very important. Say that means you are supposed to produce the product in that area where it has got more demand. That means you have to do such things, right? So you have to do that research again, right? So then such a thing that what we are going, these are the different characteristics that what we have under what you call business environment. Next, briefly explain any four dimensions of business environment. Say briefly explain any four dimensions. What is dimensions? That is of different directions, correct, of business environment. Economic environment, interest rates, inflation rates, changes in disposable income of people, stock market, indices, and the value of a rupee are some of the economic factors that can affect the management practices in a business enterprise. As on today, it is very, very simple. I can say that the price of the petroleum product has gone up. Now it has affected what all? The price of all what you call the snacks in the restaurant, which has gone up. The edible oil price has gone up. Then it has affected everything. So that means it will have impact on so many things. That is called as economic environment, right? For example, in case of construction of companies and automobile manufacturers, low long-term interest rates are beneficial because they result in increased spending by consumers for buying homes and cars on borrowed money, right? So you must be very careful with this, all these factors. That means we can say that how it will be. Say take the example of house loan. What is their interest rate? Say from past so many years it is very low, but now as on today where it is little bit, it may become high, but still till today it has not been raised. That is called as economic environment. Social environment. The social environment of business include the social forces like customs, traditions, values, social trends, societies, expectations from business, etc. For example, the celebration of Diwali, Eid, and Christians in India provides a significant business opportunity for greeting cards companies, sweets, and confectionery manufacturers, tailoring outlets, and many other related businesses. So this is how you should tackle the system, right? Social, because we have different customs and different varieties of people and different cultures, right? Technological environment. Technological environment includes forces relating to scientific improvements and innovations which provide a new ways of producing goods and services and new methods, techniques of providing a business. For example, there was a shift in demand from typewriters to computers due to technological improvement. Now, even in mobile, you can type. Mobile has become more than a computer. You have what actually a palm computer, you have laptop, you have something, you have tab. You can see all these things. Now, earlier it was what you call, we had typewriter, then it become electronic typewriter, then it becomes what actually computer. Even in computer, we have several types of computers. Say that is technology, it keeps on changing. Say yesterday what you did, it becomes what actually outdated. Today what you are producing is latest. Then tomorrow once again today's product will become outdated. Political environment. It includes political conditions such as general stability and peace in country and specific attitudes that elected government representatives hold towards business. Political stability builds up confidence among business people, while political instability can shake that confidence. So most important that how the government take decisions on such type of traits. So that is very vital, and in such a case you must be very careful with what actually political environment. So these are the different types of environment that what we have done. Now the next question, explain any four limitations of planning. Very easy, right? Planning leads to rigidity. Planning makes the subordinate managers work according to plans. They cannot change their plans even if the circumstances have changed. This kind of rigidity in plans may create difficulty. Say sometimes, but you must be flexible with your plans. If you are rigid, then it is the minus point. Then planning reduces creativity. Say I have already planned you are going to do like this. Say all of a sudden 2 new employees have joined. Then they ask, instead of this we can do this. No, we have already charted out the plan. So that cannot be. That means it will not give you out for creativity. So that means once again I say that unless you have flexibility, then you cannot think of creativity. So planning reduces the creativity of the subordinate managers as they have to just implement the plans given by the top management. So they are not allowed to deviate from plans and are not permitted to act on their own. Planning is a time consuming process. Of course, when you want to plan, then you have to what actually it takes lot of time, because to chart out so many things, right, in an organization for several departments. Planning process is a time consuming collection, analysis of facts and information, determination and evaluation of the alternative course of action, and selection of the best course action involves much what actually time. Planning does not guarantee success. The success of an enterprise is possible only when plans are properly drawn up and implemented. Of course, this is very important that all plans will be what actually plus. Sometimes plan fails because of some lacuna in the problem. That should not happen in the plan, but sometimes happen. So many plans what actually fails. But planners formulate plans for the future which are unpredictable. Further planning based on any wrong information, very important. Any wrong information you have collected, on that basis you have taken a decision, then that leads to what actually difficulty. Therefore, planning does not guarantee success. But these are all the minus point, always will be there. But keep such things what actually in your mind, then see that what best that you can do, right? Now, 36th question, explain the 4 methods of on-job training. So, what is on-job training? That means on the regular job, you are going to get what actually the training. That means it is called as, what do you mean by it is regular, along with that the newly recruited employees will be given training. So for that they have asked the 4 different methods of job training, on-job training. apprenticeship program. Apprenticeship or understudy is a method of training under which the trainee is required to work under supervision and guidance of a master worker, that is under an expert, for a specific period of time. This method helps the employees to know about the complications and complexities of the job. This type of training is commonly used to train up employees like electricians, plumbers, iron workers or carpenters who require higher level of skill. So that means they will be given the regular job, and that will be supervised by somebody. Then such is called as apprenticeship, which is called as one of the on job training program. Second one, coaching. Under this method, the supervisor guides and instructs the trainees, that is employees. As a coach, the supervisor familiarizes the employee with the methods of using the equipment, tools and materials. This helps the learner to pick up and skill speed in work. The coach or counselor sets goals and suggests how to achieve these goals. He also reviews the work and also provides regular feedback to the trainee on his performance and offers him suggestions for improvement. That means here it is like what you call an instructor, coach, right? So he'll be there and he'll be continuously guiding the new employees, that is very new employees, that how they should perform their job, and often they review the job which has been done by the new employees. Next, internship training. Now it has become what you call popular type of what you call training, say where you will be given few months or few years internship. For that, during that you will get what actually stipend, right? It is a joint program of training in which educational institutions and business firms cooperate. Under this internship training, professional institutions send their students to big industries or business enterprise to gain practical work experience. Example, engineering students may send to industry enterprises from time to time to gain practical work experience. Internship training is common in medical, engineering, management, auditing and legal professions. I think now from the point of view of what you call the BCom, where you are going to study BCom now, next internship is a must in your third from fourth semester onwards, if I am correct. So you have to do internship, so it is compulsory. Then you will understand what type of internship that you are going to do and how it helps what actually for your future. So this is most popular system of what actually training, internship. Then job rotation, most important. Say this usually used to see in banks earlier. What is job rotation? Say it will be given that every 1 year the person will be given the other type of job, so that the every person will become what you call expert in all types of job, right? Job rotation is a method of training which involves rotation or movement or shifting of the employee's trainee from one department to another or from one job to another, so that he may learn the working of various departments or jobs. Under this method, the trainee gets a chance to test his her own aptitude and abilities. It allows trainees to interact with other employees. So most important. So this is a very good type of what actually training, because they will not be skilled or trained in one field, where it will be trained in many fields, so that he will become perfect with what actually all types of jobs. So that is very popular method, right? So these are the four methods of what actually on job training. Next, 37 question, explain briefly any four importance of managerial controlling. So controlling plays the vital role. It is tough job. Controlling the subordinates, right? Controlling the staff is not an easy job, but how that managerial controlling will be done, right? The importance of that, it helps accomplishing organizational goals. So we will define that organizational goals, then how it will be done. It helps in proper implementation of plans and thereby contributing to achieve the organizational goals. It also helps in finding out deviations immediately and to take a corrective actions. That means your managerial control, that means will think that it never deviates from organizational goals. It helps in judging accuracy of standards. Always it is very important. Say you are supposed to have some standard when your product has been what actually before sending it to the marketing department and reaches ultimate consumers, you think that how standard it is and how accurate it is. That is very important from the point of view of consumer. A good control system enables management to verify whether the standards set are accurate and objective. Thus, it helps to review and revise the standards if necessary. Of course, always the standards will be what actually often it will be revised because according to the market conditions. It helps in making efficient use of resources. Most important. Say when we say that, we must be knowing that how to use our resources. Unnecessary waste should not be there. That should be the main point of any organization. Controlling helps to reduce wastage and spoilage of resources. Thus, it ensures that resources are used in the most effective and efficient manner. Say nothing should go in vain, right? So for everything, everybody thinks only it is money. It is not money. Even it is our resources also. Every hour is also important, but how that hour will be utilized is very, very important. It helps in improving employee motivation. A good control system motivates the employees and helps them to get a better performance by enabling them to know well in advance what they are expected to do and what are the standards of performance. So these are the things that is very, very important from the point of a managerial control, right? So one thing, positive motivation, which helps all the employees to work more and hard and see that the ultimately the organization goal is achieved. Next, explain briefly the steps involved in controlling process. Some process. It is very simple. The same thing: setting up performance standards, measurement of actual performance, comparing actual performance with standards, analyzing deviations, taking corrective actions. So these are called as, what do you mean by, in cost accounting you are going to study in BCom, which is called as, what do you mean by, standard costing. Standard costing. Say where all these things will be covered under this. What is standard costing? Say nobody should think that standard costing is planning. No, it is not. Standard costing is called as, what do you call, planning. It is called as a predetermined cost, which is called as predetermined cost. That means before producing the product, we said that this is the cost, right? After producing the product, what is the actual cost, right? Assuming, say, predetermined cost is 10 rupees. 10 rupees. Predetermined cost is 10 rupees. Whereas after actual producing the cost, it comes to 8 rupees. That means it is positive. 2 rupees is what actually positive, which is called as what actually favorable, which is called as what actually favorable. That means the company is doing perfect job. The company is doing what actually perfect job. On the other way, assuming that predetermined cost is 10 rupees. After the production, the actual cost is how much actually? 13 rupees. That means you have incurred extra rupees. That means your standard costing is not up to the matter. It is called as adverse, which is called what actually adverse. So this we are going to apply, that is controlling process, setting performance standards, measurement of actual performance, comparing actual performance with what actually standards, analyzing deviations, taking corrective actions. So all these things that I have explained in this only, where which comes what actually in terms, you should know that actually you should set a standard. Example, now we are in second year PUC. Now you set up a standard, right? You set up a standard that I will take 90%. Say 90%. Then you will write the exam. Then when you come out, then when you get your result, if you get 94, then you are what you call your favorable situation. You are expecting 90, right? Your result has come. You have taken 65%. It is adverse. Say that means here it shows the efficiency. Here also shows the efficiency on the other way, right? So regarding cost, that is called as controlling process. Next, Explain any 4 factors affecting financial decision. Say there are 3 decisions are important in financial management: investment decision, financing decision, and dividend decisions, right? So in this, in what proportion that you are going to mix up is called as what actually financing decision, right? So under that, cost. The cost of raising funds through different sources is one of the factors affecting financing decision. Usually, prudent financial manager chooses a source which is cheapest. So for that, where I would like to get you the one definition of financial management: procurement of funds, procurement of funds at least cost and their effective utilization. Effective utilization. The meaning of this is very simple. Say how you what actually procure funds, right? At least cost, right? Nothing should be what actually higher cost, right? But how we are going to utilize, that is your financial management. So that is called as what actually cost. The cost of raising funds through different sources is one of the factors affecting financing decision. Usually a prudent financial manager chooses a source which is the cheapest, right? But effective utilization. Risk associated with each of the sources is to be evaluated, and source with the least risk should be preferred. So when you say that least, it is called as, what do you mean by it is called as capital budgeting. Say we will do that risk analysis, that means under capital budgeting we will say that how it will be done. It is a long term what you call action, that we will do that one, the risk, to what extent the risk is there. Then flotation cost. The flotation of fundraising costs are to be considered. The source with lower flotation cost are to be preferred. That means varying. When it varies, then you must be very careful how it varies and to what extent which varies. See, all these things we are going to study in what actually in capital budgeting. Then cash flow position of the company. Say you have already studied, if I am right, in first year PUC cash flow, which is called as cash flow is nothing but after tax but before depreciation, right? An enterprise with a stronger cash flow position can go for debt financing than funding through what actually equity. It is most important. You can say that always why you go for debt. For debt you pay only interest. For debt you pay only interest. But if you go for equity, you are going to pay dividend as well as the right of vote, right of everything. Let me get you one small example so that you will understand. Say in your house, you would like to be what do you call, how many for your parents? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it is very simple. First one is there, I would like to be the only one son, or I would like to be the only one daughter. Fine, because all of my parents' property will come to me only, right? The second one, if it asks one, okay, one more, that is I'll have one, what you call, one brother, one sister. There ends the matter. If you want to have 10, the question is that the property will divide it for 10. In the similar fashion, here also it happens. Here also happens. If you take debt, you will pay minimum interest and it will go off. Whereas if you go equity, then you will have to give all rights, the power, everything goes what actually the shareholders. That is why always they prefer what actually debt financing funding through what actually equity, right? Next question. Explain any 4 factors affecting the working capital requirement of a business. I have already told you working capital is called as, what do you mean by lifeblood of the business. That is called as working capital. Nature of business. Every type of business needs different types of working capital. Don't think that everybody needs the same type of working capital. So what type of business that you are doing, that will decide that what must be your working capital. The nature of business influences the amount of working capital required. For instance, a trading business and service industry requires less working capital, whereas manufacturing business requires more working capital, since raw materials need to be converted into finished goods. So every business needs its own what actually difference. Scale of operation. So what type of scale? It is a medium scale, large scale, small scale. So all type of difference what actually needs that what type of working capital. A business with large scale operation needs a large amount of working capital to hold more inventory. On the other hand, a business concerned with small operations needs less working capital. So that means what type of business it is, nature of business, type of product, then what actually scale of operation. Business cycle. Say it is always, you should be very careful, that is up and downs always will be there in the business, right? In case of boom, demand for goods increases, requiring a large amount of working capital. In case of recession and depression, demand for goods declines, requiring lesser amount of working capital. So it is very simple. When you are in the very height, then you need more working capital because you have more demand from the market for your products. That means you will have to invest more working capital. Whereas when it is depression, right, declining, then you need less working capital because people are not preferring your what actually the products, right? This is always there. It is business cycle for several reasons. Seasonal factors. So most important, for every season you will have what actually different type of products. No, don't think that all products will be sold in all the seasons, right? In peak season, due to higher level of activity, larger amounts of working capital is required. On the other hand, during lean season, the working capital requirement will be lower. That is called as production cycle, credit allowed, credit availed, then operating efficiency. So these are another what actually what you call points to be discussed while what actually working capital. After seasonal factors, production cycle, credit allowed, credit availed, operating efficiency. That means not with one factor I cannot decide that this must be my working capital. You will have to consider so many factors into account, then say that what must be your working capital for this business. I have explained 4 because of what actually they, you can write, then you just what you can to write in the examination is first jot down all the points, then explain any 4, right? Here also I have given few more things: availability of raw materials, growth prospects, level of competition, inflation. If you keep on writing, there is no end for it, right? Because it is lifeblood of what actually the business. Next point. Briefly explain any 4 money market instruments. Money market is called as what actually short term. Capital market is called as what actually long term. So 4 money market what actually instruments. Treasury bills. They are instrument of short term borrowing issued by Reserve Bank of India on behalf of Government of India. Thus they help the central government to meet the short term requirement of funds. This maturity period is less than 1 year. Most important is less than 1 year. Treasury bills are issued in form of promissory notes. They are highly liquid. They are highly liquid. That means easily convertible into cash and have assured yield and negligible risk. That means risk is very less. That is called a negligible risk. They are issued at price lower than face value and repaid at par. That is what actually treasury bills. Commercial paper. Say it is a short term unsecured, most important, unsecured negotiable instrument issued by large and credit worthy companies. Issued by whom actually? Credit worthy companies. Here issued by whom actually? Issued by Reserve Bank of India on behalf of Government of India. Here large and credit worthy company to raise short term funds at a lower rate of interest. Usually it maturity period is of 15 days to 1 year, right? It is sold at a discount and redeemed at par. Funds raised to commercial papers are used to meet flotation cost, right? Call money. Call money is a method which bank faced with a temporary shortage of cash can borrow short-term finance from other banks. The maturity period of that money is 1 day to 15 days, which is called as money at call and short notice. Money at call and short notice. This is according to banking schedule. I hope it is schedule 7, right? Usually commercial bank raise short-term finance by this method to be able to maintain cash reserves ratio prescribed by RBI. The interest paid on call money is known as call rate, right? That means one bank helps the other bank when they are in need of what actually immediate money. It is called as call money, which is, I already told you, it is called as money at call and short notice, very short notice that they are going to, it is from 1 day to what actually 15 days. Certificate of deposit, CD, it is called as CD. Don't think your CD, it is called as certificate of deposit. Certificate of deposit are bearer documents issued by commercial banks against the deposit kept by individuals and companies. They are short-term unsecured negotiable instruments. They carry fixed rate of interest. They help them mobilize the large amount of money for short periods. That means certificate of deposit is a common thing that we see in all banks, right? So there are the 4 types which have been mentioned, that is for money market. Now next, state any 4 characteristics of specialty goods. So you know that specialty is something demand. That means where you have a huge demand. The demand for specialty products is limited and relatively small number of people buy these what actually products. These products are generally costly and their unit price is very high. So many times it happens, people they go for certain because they are capable of buying. So demand is there from the other side, not from the whole what actually all public, right? These products are available for at a few places, not in all places. An aggressive promotion is required or the sale of specialty products in order to inform people about their availability, features, etc. After sale services are very important for many of the specialty products. You can think the cost of the goods, assuming it is 2 lakh. How many of them they can buy 2 lakh? So in how many houses that you have home theater? Let me take one specific case. It is in very less number of houses. Everyone have TV, but if they have what I call home theater for that space and the type of thing, that all requires huge cost. But unit price is high, but that type of customers, they have what actually demand for such type of what actually the goods. You can take any example of your own where you have seen the world, right? And you can distinguish between the regular product and what actually specialty goods. Then discuss briefly any 4 differences between selling and marketing. Most important, selling and marketing. Marketing is different, selling is different. Part of the process versus wider term. Selling is only part of the process of marketing, but marketing is a much wider term consisting of number of activities such as identification of the consumer needs, developing the products to satisfy these needs, fixing prices and persuading the potential buyers to buy the same. I'll get you one very simple example. You have produced the product, you want to sell it, you move it, whether the people they are in need of it or not, that is called as selling. Marketing is not like that. Marketing is what actually you will find the need of the customer, then convert, then what actually produce the product. That is called as what actually, say it involves several steps in marketing. Transfer of title versus satisfying customers' need. Selling is concerned with affecting transfer of title and possession of the goods from seller to buyer. I will sell, he will take, he will become owner, that's all. That is consumer's other. But marketing actually concentrate on satisfaction of customer needs and wants. Say, I would like to say that when I have sold the product, this product has really satisfied the customer. Why? It is very simple. That means what the customer was in need, that I have produced and given. Profit through maximizing sales versus customer satisfaction. Say very simple. Say here you will get the maximum what you call profit through sales, but he will get here what actually with customer satisfaction. That means here not only I am concentrating for money, I am concentrating for customer satisfaction, right? The main aim of selling is profit maximization through maximization of sales, but marketing is concerned with customer satisfaction and thereby increasing the profit in the long term. so that they will have that, yes, this company product. That means they will always ask for us that what type of product to be produced. Next, start and end of the activities. Selling activities start after the product has been developed, but marketing activity starts much before the product is produced and continues even after the product has been sold. Again, it is very clear. Selling is, I told you initially, selling is you have produced the product, you would like to push in the market. Marketing is not that. You will go for research before, then you will find that customers what actually the trend, their need, and convert and what actually sell the products. That means with the satisfaction. So that is one more difference between selling and what actually marketing. Next, explain any 4 rights of consumers. Say consumer is a person who ultimately uses what actually the goods. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for 6 rights of consumers. They are right to safety. According to this right, the health and life of the consumers to be protected against manufacturing and other defects in the food products, medicine, electrical appliances, gas cylinders, pressure cookers, and other similar products and services. So that means you know that I need not explain, because you know that safety plays the vital role. That is the first right of consumer. Next, right to be informed. A consumer has to be right to get true and complete information about the quality, quantity, price, contents, directions for use, date of manufacture, expiry date, it is not data, it is date of goods and services which he intends to buy. Say, I'll get you one small example. When you go and buy a medicine, then immediately you say what is the expiry date. When you buy one food product, then you say what is it. Even in milk, you say what is that. Say use before 14th of April, use before 17th of April. That is called as, what do you mean by, it should be informed. In the milk packet only when it is there, then you can see in so many things. That is called as, it should be informed to the public. Right to choose. The consumer has the right to choose the product of his choice out of the available alternative products. We'll call it as, what do you mean by shopping, right? When you go for shopping, you will straight away will not buy one product. You will go on to a shop, then you will say 4, 5 shops, then decide then which you have to buy. That is called a right to choose, right? Nobody will force you. Right to be heard. According to this right, consumer allowed to file a complaint and to be heard if he finds himself exploited or is not satisfied with the goods and services. That can be sued. It is very simple, right? So right to be heard, right? Right to seek redressal. Every consumer has a right to seek redressal against any defect or deficiency in product or service. That means he can go for consumer court. Right to get compensation for any loss or injury suffered. Right to seek replacement of goods or removal of defects in the goods. So very, very important. So we are supposed to have that, all those knowledges we have, but only one question is to what extent we are using, right? Right to consumer education. According to the right, every consumer has the right to be educated about the consumer rights and the reliefs available to him in case of products or service falling short of his expectation. So everything should be educated properly. So these are called as, what do you mean by right of consumer. So that is our right before we consuming what actually the products, right? So in section C, what all that I have explained, it is the same type of questions that you are going to get in section D. I'll just go through it automatically section D, because all explanation, everything, it is there in section C. Now section D. Answer any 4 of the following questions in 20 to 20 sentences, 25 sentences each. Each question carries 8 marks. Say, students, I have already told you that I have given detailed explanation in section C, and the same chapters, that questions of different type it will come. I have given you the points, right? You can elaborate by referring to what actually again section C. So here I am not going to get you detailed explanation. Wherever it is needed, that I am going to get you explanation, right? So let us start with 45th question. They have asked 4, but I have written all the questions. So explain the characteristic feature of management. I have already told you characteristic is nothing but particularly both advantages and disadvantages. That is management. Number 1, management is a goal oriented process. Management is all pervasive. Management is multi-dimensional. That means it not works in one direction, it works in all directions. Management of work, management of people, management of operations, right? Because this is very important, because management cannot work in one direction. One is goal, the other one is pervasive. That means it has that what you call clarity. Then management is a continuous process. Say, you say that management is over. No, it is a process that till the firm is there, the management process will be there, right? Management is a group activity, right? So it is board of directors will be there, right? And supervisors will be there, managers will be there. So many levels will be there. They will be keep on what actually doing that one. That is one thing which is called as management is a group activity. Management is a dynamic function, right? Say they should take certain decisions immediately, sometimes have to delay. Say all tactics that should be done, that means they should be dynamic in their work. Management is an intangible force. Because why it is called as intangible force means you cannot exactly measure what is management, because human resource is like that only. Human resource plays the vital role. Now we are all replacing goodwill in place of what actually we are replacing human resource. So human resource plays here. What amount of human resource has been put by that higher up so that it gets you so much of profit, that is return. So these are the features or characteristics of management. Next, explain the importance of organizing. So most important is organizing. So organizing means organizing what? Organizing all your what actually the concepts, right, of the organization, right? Number 1, benefits of specialization, clarity in working relationship, optimum utilization of resources. I think I have given you all things that is called as benefits of specialization. Say whenever you do work, then there should be a clarity. That means say between the two departments, what type of cooperation, what type of coordination, it should be there. Say cooperation means between the two persons, coordination between the two departments, right? So optimum utilization of resources, say whatever it is, labor, material, land, whatever it is, right? All those things it should be used to the extent where it is possible. Yes, you should use it. That is optimum, right? Then adoption of change. I need not explain you that adoption of change. If you do not what actually adopt change, then you will be a failure, big failure. Change, one thing which changes. The only one word which will not change is the change, CHANG. All other things in the world will change, and we should adapt for that change. It may be technologically, it may be modern, it may be people, it may be society, it may be something else, right? Effective administration, right? When efficiency is proved, then it is called as what actually effective administration. Development of personnel. Say it is called as what actually HR, that is human resource. Personnel is development of the perfect what do you call personnel that you have to take in for the job. The right person for the right job. That is very important. That is called as development of personnel. Then expansion and growth. For this always you should think of what actually research and development, right? Say you cannot become a stagnant water. I have already told you, you should become a flowing water. That is called as expansion and growth is a must. You cannot stick on to one, because in this world you can take many examples of many Indian companies. If you take Tata, that how many type of products are there? If you take Reliance, how many type of products are there, right? You have lot of examples. That means it is called as expansion and growth. You should concentrate for it. For that, how you organize, that is called one of the important concept, right? You can write two lines, three lines on each point. Next question. State the advantages and disadvantages formal organization. Say formal means it is registered and where we are doing that perfectly, right? So everything is intact. When such a thing organization is there, what are the advantages and disadvantages, or what you call limitations? That advantages, it is easier to fix responsibility since mutual relationships are clearly defined. There is no ambiguity. That means you are not in a dilemma whether this is right, that one is right. No, there is no ambiguity, right? In the role that each member has to play as duties are specified. This also helps in avoiding duplication of effort. Unity of command is maintained throughout an established chain of command. Unity of command, that means they work together, that is called as what actually unity of command, right? It leads to effective accomplishment of goals by providing a framework for operations to be performed, right? So everything that will be given by the formal organization, it provides stability to the organization. When you have all these things, then you will have what actually stable mind and stable relationship and stable organization. Disadvantages: the formal communication may lead to procedural delays as the established chain of command has to be followed, which increases the time taken for decision making. You have advantage, you have disadvantage. A quick decision taking, it solves the problem. If it is delayed, then you will have to pay penalty for it. So assuming it goes for 5%, then if person takes 6 days, then 1 month is over. That should not happen. That means it happens in what actually formal. That means it should go like this only. See, that is formal, right? So when such a thing is called as what you mean by, sometimes it may become a disadvantage. Poor organization practices may not provide adequate recognition to creative talent since it does not allow any deviation from rigidly laid down policies. Say sometimes some organizations, the formal organization, whatever that formal things that have them, they may not allow the person who is what actually more dynamic, that he may not what actually change the things because he is not allowed to. So that becomes an what you call disadvantage. That means that's why sometimes it should be flexible. Then it is difficult to understand all human relationship in the enterprise as it places more emphasis on structure and work. Hence, the formal organization does not provide complete picture of how an organization works. Say, to satisfy everybody is a tough job, but to what extent that you are satisfying is very important. But still, satisfaction to all persons is a tough job in formal organization. Next, describe the steps involved in selection process. So this is very important. That is called as when you appoint persons for the job, then what are the procedures that what actually involved, right? We have already talked about what you call that is a different type of training, right? Likewise here, what is that we are doing, that how we are going to select that process, that is to get the persons for your work. Number 1, preliminary screening. 2, selection test, that is intelligence test, aptitude test, trade test, that is proficiency test, personality test, interest test. I think you might have said, just I'll get you one small example. If you take bank examination, what are the types of tests are there? So how they do this, decide that one? For the banking clerical job, what are the requirements must be there for that candidate? So on that basis, they decide 4 tests, 5 tests. Likewise, here also in an organization, I am getting you the whole thing, what actually think, then how it should be done, right? So there are so many things. Selection test means there are so many types of tests. Then employment interview, reference and background checks, right? That is called as what do you mean by their family check. Then selection decision, whether the person is selected or not, suitable for this job or not. Then medical examination, most important, right? Then job offer, issue of appointment order, right? Today we will call it as what actually offer letter. Issue of appointment letter is a old word. It is called as offer letter as on today, which is called as offer letter, right? Contract of employment, acceptance of job offer. That means when you have given, whether they have accepted that offer or not. All these things we call it as what do you mean by selection process, right? So from first point to last point, right? Next, explain the qualities of a good leader, most important. So how you call it as a good leader? Say leader is different from boss. Say there is one saying in boss is always right. When he is late, he says that he is not late, he has been delayed. This is the proverb, it is there in management, right? No, you would like to not become what actually a boss, you would like to become a leader. A leader leads the team. That means he works along with everyone. He is called as leader, right? So qualities of a good leader is physical features, knowledge, integrity, initiative. So he should have all those things. Then only we call it as what actually the leader. Then communication skills, motivation skills, self-confidence, decisiveness, social skills. See, he should have all skills. Say, otherwise it becomes impossible for the person, right? So when you have all these skills, then it is called as, what do you mean by it is called as the good leader, right? You write just one sentence on each what actually the skills. You can write on your own. Don't expect that you should write the bookworm. No need. You can write your practical experience and write it, right? If I say one example, social skills. Say he must be able to have that social skill with all his employees and with the society, with somebody. Why? Because there are several types of what actually workers will be there. How he is going to interact with everybody. That is very important, right? Next question, suggest the suitable measures to improve communication effectiveness. Say most important, if communication is not effective, the firm will not grow and firm cannot achieve the goals. For that, improves communication effectiveness. Clarify the ideas before communication. That means whenever you want to communicate something to your staff, see that you have a doubt, you please clear it off. Communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Whatever that person, that means your staff is needed, to that extent you please what actually communicate. Consult other before communicating, right? It is better to, two heads are better than one, right? So consult others before communicating. Be aware of languages, tone and content of message. So it should not hurt anybody. When you write something, you should not hurt anybody. For that sake, you must be very careful with your language, that what you should be polite, right? And the tone should not be something what actually different, right? And it should not hurt, right? Then convey things of help and value to listeners. Convey things of help and value to listeners. Say always you should have that listeners. You are supposed to what actually is that he is capable. We can. Ensure proper feedback. Say always we are supposed to take the feedback. That means what has been communicated, how it has been done, that you are supposed to take back, because without feedback nothing happens. Whatever you do, you are supposed to take feedback. Communicate for present as well as for future, right? It is not for what actually for the time being, it is for next also. Follow up communications. Say once you say it has been done, it is over. No, it is not. Say whether that person has listened carefully or not. Be a good listener. Most important. I always tell this one, who is a good student? A good listener is a good student. A good listener is a good student. Say if you listen, definitely you will learn anything. So especially when communication is effective, one should be what actually good listener. So these are the points, that is to measure to improve what actually communication effectiveness. Now the next question is, what is the stock exchange? Explain the functions of the stock exchange. A stock exchange is an institution which provides a platform for buying and selling of existing securities. We say securities, that means it may be shares or debentures or bonds. According to Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956, stock exchange means anybody of individual, whether incorporated or not, constituted for the purpose of assisting, regulating or controlling the business of buying and selling or dealing in securities, right? So anybody who does this business, then it is called as what? Stock exchange. So functions of stock exchange. Number one, providing liquidity and marketability to existing securities. Say in a provisional stores, you will get what actually grocery. You will get some other items, right, for buying and selling. That person will buy from somewhere and he will sell it to you. But here it is very simple. Different companies, shares and bonds will be dealt in one place, which is called as what actually stock exchange. So here also buying and selling will be there, and they earn what actually different type of commissions and everything, right? So for that, providing liquidity and marketability to the existing securities, pricing of securities, safety of transaction, contributes to economic growth, spreading of equity cult, providing scope for speculation. Say, these are the most important functions of actually exchange. Providing liquidity and marketability. Yes, that means how it can be easily liquid. Say, I have 100 shares, then I go for the stock exchange. Then he will say that how it can be encashed, right? Then how it can be what actually marketed. That means how we can sell it. Then pricing of security. What is the price of today, tomorrow, yesterday, right? Then safety of transaction. Say, I should be very safe with my what actually the securities, right? I should not go what actually failure, that I should not be get into loss, right? That such thing should not happen. Contributes to the economic growth, right? When we are doing that one, definitely the stock exchange plays. Say, always you say that if something happens, then immediate first reaction will be for what actually on stock exchange. Then spreading of equity cult, that means it should be for everyone. Then providing scope for speculation. Say, without speculation, nothing happens in this world. You are supposed to what actually speculate. Say, I say that always risk is one factor. Without taking risk, nothing happens. Likewise, when you take risk, then you are supposed to speculate. Then next question, 52nd question. What do you mean by channels of distribution? It is very simple. When you say channels of distribution, that is called as how the products will be transferred from manufacturer to what actually ultimate consumer. What are the chains are there? It is called as channels of distribution. Channels of distribution are sets of firms and individuals that take lead title or assist in transferring title to a particular goods or services as it moves from producers to consumers. I say that it is from manufacturer to consumers. That is, they have asked what do you mean by channels of distribution? What are the functions that play? So the different functions, distribution channel of the what you call goods and services: sorting, accumulation, allocation, assorting, product promotion, negotiation, risk taking, right? So there are several things that should be done by what actually the channels, because when you say that one, these are the things of distribution channels are there. Sorting of different products. Accumulation, you have to accumulate so many types of products because you have to sell. Then allocation, whom it should be given, where it should be given. Assorting, right? Once again dividing, for A it is how much, for B it is how much, for C it is how much. Then product promotion, yes, you are supposed to give what actually, yes, you should promote a product. It is not only assorting, sorting, everything, it should be product promotion. Negotiation, sometimes it happens that what I call a rate is little bit higher, you make what actually less, then with the customer, with the supplier, everyone. Then risk taking, I told you without risk taking nothing is there. Yes, you have to take that risk. So when you write all these transactions, then it becomes what actually that is called as, what do you mean by play a role in the distribution of goods and services, that is functions. Now the last part of your question paper is section E, practical oriented question. I have given you a few charts also, so you can write like that only, right? Answer any two of the following questions, right? Each one carries 5 marks, right? So, but 1, 2, 3, 4 questions are there. I have answered all the 4 questions. Assuming that you are the manager of an organization, draw a neat diagram of different levels of management to specify that authority responsibility relationship create different levels of management. So it is very simple diagram showing the levels of management. It is very clear, right? Top management, middle management, operational management. That means one who carries out. That is board of directors, managing director, chairman, president, chief executive officer, general manager, chief finance officer, vice president. It is top management. Middle management is production manager, purchase manager, sales manager, likewise, right? Then operational management is foreman, supervisors, right? It will be there. If you write this diagram, you will get 5 out of 5. Next, 54th question. As a manager, what logical steps you follow in planning process before executing a project? as a manager, logical steps, that means it should be rational. It should not be irrational. That means it is perfect. That is called as rational. Steps you follow in planning process before executing the project. Say here I have given planning process. Planning process. Number 1, setting up objectives. Yes, you should have what is your objectives. Second one, developing planning premises, right? That means there must be an area where you are planning, how that what it is going on. Then the third one is identification of alternative course of action. Say you should not stick on to one, always you should have what actually is. Say we will say that it is always called as plan A, plan B, plan A, plan B. That is called as identification of alternative course of action. Next, evaluating alternative course of action. Say if A comes, what are the things? If B comes, then what are the things? That is called as you have to evaluate the alternative course of action. Then selecting the best alternative. Say I can easily say what is decision making. Out of the several solutions, you will take one as the best. That is called as decision making. Right? Likewise, you have what alternative, what actually course of action. Then you have to select the best. Then implementing the plan. It is not the question of what you call you have selected the plan, then you are supposed to what actually implement that plan. Implement is not the end, then you are supposed to follow up the action. That means what is going on, you are supposed to follow up the action. This is called as what you mean a planning process. If you write this diagram, that is enough. It is what actually self-explanatory. Next, 55th question. As a financial consent, give the list of any 10 factors which affect the choice of capital structure, right? So, list of any 10 factors. So, cash flow position, interest coverage ratio, ICR, debt service coverage ratio, DSCR, return on investment, ROI, cost of debt, tax rate, cost of equity, flotation cost, risk consideration, flexibility, control, regulatory framework, stock market conditions, then capital structure of other companies. In this you need not explain, you just mention the points, that is enough. Then 56th question. Assuming that you are a promoter of a company and would like to raise capital through primary market, what are the various methods of floating new issues available to you? That means what are the new avenues that you have for that, right? Assuming that I am a promoter of a company and would like to raise capital through primary market, that means first, primary means first, secondary means what actually, that is through stock exchange, right? The following methods floating new issues are available to me. Number 1, offer through prospectus or a public issue. Offer for sale through intermediaries like stock brokers. What actually stock brokers. Then private placement to institutional investors and some selected individuals. Right issue to the existing shareholders. Then EIPO, that is electronic initial what actually order, that is called as order through online system of stock exchange, right? So these are the methods that what we have for our what do you call the as a promoter, that what are the methods that you can offer. If you write these methods, that is enough from the examination point of view. Hope you have understood, right? So once again in the end, I am just requesting those who have not subscribed for my channel, you please subscribe and share among your friends, right? Study well and do your best. And as far as my knowledge is concerned, I have given the best answers, that is from the point of view of the student for second PUC level. Alright. Thank you. I wish all the best.